Welcome to Restoring Men in History. Candace Owens gave a good perspective. Now, we did American hero Charlie Kirk, a video on him because he's a hero. But I wanted to give you a take from some good Candace Owens clips when she talks about the beginning, because I think if you men are trying to build something, create something, do something, her take is pretty interesting on how he did it. And she was there at the beginning, traveled around with him. So let's take a look at clip one. Candace Owens giving her take on Celebration Charlie Kirk. Go.
Ambitious. Everybody knows Charlie is ambitious. I met him back in 2017 when Turning Point was this very young organization. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew who Charlie Kirk was. And Charlie was always wearing these really baggy suits. I mean, they looked like they were hand-me-downs from 3 generations because he was focused on the ideas. He didn't care about his appearance. He was laser focused on what he knew Turning Point could become. Not could become, but would become. He hired me on the spot. We were at this conference in Florida, and he and I used to always say, we never said the rest was history. You know, the rest is history. We say the rest is future.
So what do we talk about? Have a vision, start with a big one, and goals. He was focused on what? Ideas and depth and what it could be. Let's go on to clip 2.
And I want you guys to know about our first planning sesh, okay? It was in the middle of Chicago O'Hare Airport. There is this restaurant that's called the Macaroni Grill. And I sat down with Charlie on our first trip together. He flips over this little paper menu as we're waiting for our flight. And he takes out this pen and he just starts drawing a map of what he wants to happen into the future, what the Turning Point organization will become. It was spastic, it was unhinged, it was the absolute best. It was true Charlie. He was a visionary. Charlie was a visionary. If he could envision it, it was going to happen. He knew that, I knew that. And what he had envisioned was for Turning Point USA to become the biggest conservative student organization, not just in the nation, by the way, but in the world. He kind of squabbled and swiveled and wrote that the structure is currently a 501c3, and he's sitting there talking to me, but here's what we can do in the future, and here's how, and then I'm going to probably take control of the RNC. I mean, he's 23 years old, right?
So big goal, right? Be the biggest conservative organization in the United States and the world. If you like this subject, please subscribe, like, and comment. If you have an experience or Charlie touched you in some way and you want to make a comment, love to hear how he impacted your life. Thank you. And it does not only seem like it's the biggest conservative, I don't know which one is, it seems like it's had the most impact, though, for sure, on the youth and on the men. He's had a tremendous impact and affected millions and millions of people, and he's going to go on, continue impacting millions and millions of people. What an accomplishment. He dreamed it and he did it. It's one thing to say you're going to do something. Charlie Kirk said it and did it. When they talk, that's a fascinating perspective of them talking. So, if you men are listening, watching, do you have your goals written down? Do you know what you want to accomplish in your lifetime? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Write them down. Have a vision for your life. Put it on a vision board. Put it on paper. Put it on your computer, on your phone. Carry it around. Go over it. Go over it at the beginning of the week, at the end of the week. How far are you getting? Measure it. Are you getting results? Are you getting small goals, little goals, medium goals, large goals? Where are you going? Where are you going to be in 6 months? Where are you going to be in 2 years? Figure it out. And what else did he do? He wrote it down. He took action. What else? He executed it well. And if you listen to a lot of entrepreneurs, execution means so much. You can have a vision, you can have a dream, but you got to take action and then execute it well. So have a plan, take action, dream big, and execute it. What did he do? He had a purpose larger than himself as well. God, country, and family came later. Next. Who was his hero? Do you know who it was? We're going to tell you in a second. We're going to play this clip. Go.
He was really raised on Rush Limbaugh, listening to Rush Limbaugh day in and day out. And he told me through many conversations that if he could have a show like Rush Limbaugh one day, he would be very happy. That was, I think, his ultimate goal, and it happened.
His hero was Rush Limbaugh, and that makes complete sense. Rush Limbaugh knew how to talk to people. Charlie Kirk knew how to talk to people. Rush Limbaugh resonated with people. Charlie Kirk resonated. And guess what? Neither one of them yelled. And Charlie Kirk knew how to laugh. Charlie Kirk knew how to smile. Rush Limbaugh knew how to smile. He knew how to laugh at people attacking them and have fun. Charlie Kirk knew how to laugh and have fun. You see Charlie Kirk a lot of times when that one person of Antifa threw water and something else on him, an egg, and he laughed. She talks about that here. But he was always smiling. There was a person that grabbed his hat. One time I saw a clip, and this girl grabbed his hat, and he laughed. He said, no, we're not going to do it. So he was a visionary. Rush Limbaugh was a visionary. He built something very unique and effective. Rush Limbaugh built something very effective. So it makes complete sense that his hero would be Rush Limbaugh. And he wanted that 3-hour show, and he got it. He got his goal. He got his dream. So I'm glad he did. Who's your hero? Is it someone else from a different profession? If so, write it down. What's your end goal? Have that 5-year plan written out. Let's go on to the next clip.
You know, we have to work harder. My rule was I was like, we shouldn't drink. Everybody in politics is drinking. They're drunk all the time. If we're passionate, we have to understand that it's a disadvantage. People are always made weaker. It doesn't make anybody stronger to be drunk after an event. And so we didn't drink. And we had a couple of mottos, but Charlie's was, we can always outwork our opponents. I can't tell you how many times we looked at each other and we said, we can outwork them. Everyone was bigger than us, but not working harder than us. That came really directly from Charlie. It was the thing that he said we could always control. And I totally agreed with that. Work ethic meant everything.
So we talk about this one all the time. Have some goals you can control. A, it'll make you feel good. It will make you can get a sense of accomplishment at the end of the week because you will be, what? Executing and carrying them out. You can have some goals you can't, some goals you can. But what can you control? You can control how hard you work. You can control how much you work, right? So whatever your hours are, I don't know whether you work weekends, nights, I don't know whether you work all the time. But what are they saying here? Outwork everybody. So if you work nights, weekends, got to do some day work. If you work during the days, 9-to-5 job, and you have a 9-to-5 job, at the beginning you may have to work nights, weekends, right? You can outwork everybody though, that's the point, and you control that. And she said everyone was bigger than us. But she said they were going on Fox sometimes 4 times a day, sometimes at 4 a.m. And Charlie had a rule, we take everything, we take every interview, all right? Let's go on to the next good story on loyalty early on. Go.
After he hired me, he had been working already really hard on doing this campus tour throughout California. He called it the Big Three: UCLA, we're going to do Stanford, we're going to do Berkeley. And there was somebody who was a lot bigger than me at the time who was going to be kind of the face of it. Because like I said, people were not going to buy tickets to hear me and Charlie Kirk speak. And he had someone that they definitely would hear speak. And for whatever reason, and this was just my luck, Charlie was pumping gas. He was inside of the gas station, and I'm sitting in the car, and I see this person, his phone is sitting in the car, and the messages are lighting up on the screen, and this individual saying, I don't want to do this event with that new girl you hired. Like, I don't want to share the stage with her, essentially. Just mean-spirited, no reason. I'm bigger than her. I should do this by myself. And then if she wants to come on and be an auxiliary, that's fine. But I don't want to share the stage with her, this newbie. And I remember Charlie gets in the car, and he looks at the message, and he looks at me, and he knows I've looked at the message. I saw it, and I'm like, Charlie, I said, I have no idea like where this is going. Obviously, I understand that the sensible you doesn't want to lose this person on the ticket, that this means a lot to you and you've worked hard on it, but you're going to have to learn that you have to make the right decision and not the easy decision. And this is only going to work if we keep making the right decisions, you know? And I could just see the struggle within him. And then he did the right thing. He said, okay, if you don't want to do this event with this newbie Candace, then we're not going to do the event, and Candace and I will do it alone. And we did. We went at it alone. Actually, I think for that particular event, Dave Rubin hopped on, and the rest was future.
So I really like this story. I think loyalty is undervalued. Charlie stuck with her. He had been working with this other guy, but he had hired her, and he told her she was going to go. She saw it in the car. I think it's a great story of his character. He stuck by his person. And that guy could have gone on. It wasn't like he was knocking him out. That guy just didn't want to go on with Candace. So I really enjoyed that story and liked hearing it, because that's an undervalued virtue, loyalty, and I think it's so important. Let's go on to the next clip.
He used to always say, iron sharpens iron, and we spent so much time practicing, debating, and really thinking through what our ideas were. Charlie never missed a meeting that he had. He wouldn't do that. He took that very seriously. It doesn't matter what the circumstance was, even if it was a hurricane. And one day there was literally a hurricane. I think we were in North Carolina, South Carolina at the time. I don't remember. But all the flights got canceled, and we needed to be in D.C. by morning. And Charlie looks at me. He's like, we got to rent a car. We got to drive 8 hours. Totally insane. And one of the most fun road trips I've had in my life. Every single song was sung. We were always, me and Charlie were always singing in cars. To show you, this is from that road trip. And then, of course, there was always some hip hop mixed in, Ignition, remix.
So we always say enjoy the process. Don't just get caught up in the outcome, right? Because we don't know when it's going to hit or when you're going to reach the outcome or the objective. But if you can enjoy the process along the way, whether you get that objective and outcome or not, you can learn as well. So enjoy the process and learn as you go. Enjoy that process. And they were having fun singing, right? It's a great clip, I think. Showed you a lot about Charlie. We also say this. What did he say? If you say you're going to do something, do it. It says it on our patch. I don't have a patch on. Do what you say. Why? You'll stand out if you just do what you say in life. If you'll just show up at that meeting. A lot of people won't show up. They'll say, they'll commit, and then they just won't go to the meeting. They'll say, I want to meet you, in fact, and ask for the meeting, and then they won't show up. So if you can do that, men, it will set you apart in many ways. If you can show up, be there on time, show up for the meeting. He rented a car to get there, and I was impressed with that. Charlie Kirk has character. He does what he says. He shows up for meetings, and believe me when I tell you this, that is so important, and it will make you stand out as men among men. Let's go on to the next clip.
The Him Too one, that was controversial. That was a controversial moment, one of those character forming moments. I won't forget it because that Me Too hashtag, it just started going viral and people were emotional. And right away I was like, Me Too's awful. This is terrible for women. It's terrible for men. You know, just me being Candace saying the thing, and left and right, people were hammering me. It was like, how dare you say that we need due process? We're talking about rape. And I remember he had young women at Turning Point who were threatening to quit, crying in the office. How could she not support Me Too? Young women who did quit. And then we had, at the same time, the YWLS conference. So the reporters who already hated us just completely, they just swooped in there and they were like, oh, do you support her statements? And I just remember just being behind Charlie and Andrew Colvett, and he just held the line. He held the line because he agreed with me, and he knew it was going to be a bit of fire. People, you've got to fire her. How could she say this? And he didn't. He held the line. And it was one of those moments where Charlie, he had good character.
Charlie Kirk stuck to his beliefs. He had character. And you may have to take an unpopular stance, but one that meets your beliefs. And take a stand against the current narrative or whatever that may be. Probably you will have to take a stand against the current narrative. But you may have to take a stand that's not popular in your organization or your corporation or whatever you're doing in life. Charlie Kirk did that. He stood. As she said, he held the line. So let's wrap this up. She said Charlie's motto was what? Be a happy warrior. And interestingly enough, Rush Limbaugh was a happy warrior too. They both can laugh. They both could smile. She saw him as a best friend and a brother, and they were close no matter what pressures. And no matter what they went through, they stayed close. Do you have friends like that? That no matter whether you're in the popular moment of the zeitgeist or not, your friends stick by you. They stuck by each other. He was at her wedding. He knew his calling. He made a plan. He had a larger purpose than himself. He outworked people. That was a motto. He served God and country in a larger purpose than himself. Later he added wife and children. And he had an impact on millions and millions of people. And that's going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's going on. We're going to carry it on. You're going to carry it on. Charlie Kirk, you are a legend. You have enriched us. If you like this subject, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, and God bless America.